Manish, the government has tried to address the skilling issue in the budget. And we had the skilling minister here. He said basically that he hopes that the industry will come forward and decide to take 4,000 odd interns if you do that straight line calculation. But it seems to a lot of people that it's just something which is at the idea stage. There will be a lot of implementation challenges. Will this skilling program try and address this issue?
I think it's unfair to think that skills create jobs. This chicken and egg problem of do jobs create skills or do skills create jobs? The only way to solve the chicken and egg problem is to become vegetarian, do something different. So this notion that if you skill the whole of India, these jobs will show up is just delusional. China did not have a massive skill development program. And as we are discovering with the iPhone manufacturer in Chennai and in Bangalore, it takes them 8 weeks to manufacture an assembly line manufacturer for iPhones. It's 8 weeks. So let's give up this notion that if we somehow, the ASA report did not have to exist and skilled ministry did not have to exist and NEP was fully implemented, we would solve this wages problem. So I think human capital is a very important part of long-term prosperity. But the most important binding constraint we have in India is high-wage formal job creation. And the 40 factory refugees who are running around from China, I hope Xi Jinping doesn't get a 4th term. I hope he gets a life term because he's our biggest ally. But these 40 factory refugees now tell us that skill development and infrastructure are a thorn in the flesh. They are not a dagger in the heart. The dagger in the heart for formal high-wage job creation is regulatory cholesterol. It's very important because if you put skilling at the front of it, NEP is a wonderful document, but NEP has a 15-year glide path for a reason. It takes time for university systems, for government schools, for things to change. I think the change is happening. I think that for a factory, for a software company in India, today skills is not the binding constraint. And I can say that, I don't know where jobs will be, but they're definitely not going to be green jobs. I'm glad Professor Gandhi has left because, poverty is a very green job and India has the most green jobs in the world because, informal self-employment and informal agricultural employment is very green and we don't want those jobs. So, let's be a little careful with at best racism and at worst premature load bearing. So we're not going to have green jobs. We're not going to have AI jobs. We're not going to have farm jobs. And let's not position self-employment again as a solution to this. There was an idiot Russian economist called Chayanov who convinced Nehru in the 1920s that small farms are viable because you don't have to pay your kids a salary, your wife a salary, and rent. And he called it the theory of self-exploitation. So India is not going to solve its problems by being self-employed. So I would submit skilling, the programs which are on are very important. NEP is very important. But the most important binding constraint is why is the biggest factory in India only have 45,000 people in one location? The largest factory in China at its peak used to be 700,000 people in one location. So I think why do we have 26,000 ways for employers to go to jail? Why do we have 67,000 compliances? So I would submit, if you really believe the problem is not unemployment, it's wages, then the problem is on the firm size and the firm productivity. You don't put skills and infrastructure as the first point, you put regulatory cholesterol as the main point.